Hi, I'm Chad with Then and Now Gardening, and today I'm going to show you how to make fertilizer out of your weeds. Now, a lot of people would say, why would you use weeds in your garden? Well, weeds themselves are not bad for your garden, it's just what weeds do, most weeds that are bad for your garden. Most weeds are greedy and they suck all the nutrients out of the soil, but when you throw them away, you're throwing away all the nutrients on your property. This is a way you can get that back. So, the first question that I had when I learned this was about the weed seeds, and then I got the idea for the yeast to help break this down. It gets the nutrients to leave the plant matter faster, and during the process of making this, what weed seeds aren't pulverized are usually sterilized by the yeast action. So what we do is I put a little bit of yeast in this like I just did, just a little pinch in every blender. Now I got a lot of weeds, so it'll be a little pinch in every blender. And then add some water. Now the water is this color because I added a tablespoon of molasses to it. Molasses itself is a good fertilizer. This has a lot of nitrogen in this fertilizer, but because the weeds store so much other nutrients, there's a lot of trace minerals like calcium and copper, zinc, magnesium, phosphorus. Really all shows up in here depending on how many different weeds you have. So what you do is just get them in your blender and you pulverize them. You want this to be about like pesto. Now what we have here is mostly dandelions and a couple other weeds in the yard. And how you tell a weed or a plant that stores a lot of nutrients is it has a bitter smell, kind of like the center of a lettuce head taste. That's where the most of the nutrients is. That's why it has that bitter taste. If that happens, put a little more in, kind of break it up. Probably gonna need a lot more water in this. Try and keep any grass you pull out. Now, before I put this in the blender, I washed all of the weeds off and the dandelions and everything, so it didn't have any dirt left from the roots, because that would be bad for the blender. The grass is just really fibrous and gets tangled up more and it breaks down, so try and keep that out too. And keep going until it's about like pesto. For this particular fertilizer, a blender would probably be a little better, but a food processor works just fine. And let's see. Yeah, it's about what you want. like a gritty paste. Okay, I'm going to grind up the rest of these and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so now we have our weeds all blended up. They look about like that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put a cover over this and let it sit overnight. Now, while this sits, it's just going to break down more. It doesn't actually smell. In fact, it stink anyways. It smells really sweet. It's got a pleasant aroma, kind of like you know, like after a rainstorm and your lawn's cut, but sweeter. And then so tomorrow morning we're gonna go out and we'll show you the next step on what you do with this. And until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next morning now, and we have the weeds. They've been sitting in the yeast water, and what I'm going to do now is add the bucket of water, 5 gallons. And then I use a paint mixer for a drill. It saves a lot of time on mixing. You would mix this for about 2 to 5 minutes so you get a real nice foam that doesn't break down, and then use some kind of screen. I use this filter bag. If you're not making that much, you can use a coffee filter. It just takes a lot longer. And then I put it into a normal hose applicator like this, and then you spray it on the yard. We are going to have before and after videos after we apply the fertilizer, so you can see the results and how well this stuff works. Watch for that on our website, Then and Now Gardening. Thank you.